Well, it took us almost 19 years of living in our home to be able to be in the position where we could invite my grandmother down from or up from Florida to come visit us near Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. So she was up here for 6 nights. We tried to do stuff every afternoon or evening. That way she could sleep in. And if she wanted an afternoon nap, that was definitely an option. So the first night we took her to Swiss Chalet for dinner because it's a Canadian restaurant. The next night was the December 30th. So we took her out to a dinner and then to a light show. So this is at Safari Niagara. They do a Christmas light show, as you can see here. And she'd never actually done a show like this. This is a drive-through one through our zoo. Obviously, the animals are tucked away for the winter, but they decorate it up, and it's a great way for them to bring in income on the off season. But because my grandmother had never done anything like this, we made sure to get tickets. It just worked out. This is the last night of the light show for the year, and it was her second night in town. So although she was exhausted the first day, because we had flight cancellations and changes and terminal changes and it was a whole thing. But the next day she was able to sleep in, and we went for a lovely dinner, and then we went to go see the lights at our local zoo. So, because of the location of the Safari Light Show here, it is near, not next door to, but near Niagara Falls, Ontario. And so, my family, since we started doing these Safari Lights, has then done the Niagara Falls Lights right after. Kind of two birds, one stone. You're already in the area. So, once we finished with the Safari Lights, we headed down the road and did the Dufferin Island Lights, which is put on by the city of Niagara Falls. And it's just a small little circle, but as you can tell, they do a great job lighting up a ton of stuff. They had a lot added new this year, which was great to see because we do it every year. So it's nice when there's something extra added into the mix. Like that. That is a new one for this year. But it was really nice. So not only did she get to see the zoo light up, we did the Dufferin Islands light up. And then, of course, because you're right at the falls when that happens, we then took her by Niagara Falls so that she could see them lit up with the colors at night. My grandmother has not seen the Niagara Falls in over 40 years. And the last time she was actually here, and I'd have to look up the date, but the last time she was here was the first time, at least at that time, was the first time that the Niagara Falls had officially frozen. There was absolutely no movement whatsoever in the falls. So the one time she got to finally see them in her life, there was no falling of the falls. So we wanted to make sure that not only is she going to see them at night with the beautiful lights on and everything that Niagara Falls does for the falls and the city at night, in a couple of days worth of photos here, we do take her back to see them through the day, because if you're going to experience the Niagara Falls, you've got to see them both ways. Colorful at night and beautiful and natural during the day. Obviously, a ton of photos, because how can you go wrong with having too many light show photos? They just make you smile anyway with the amount of work that goes into how making them as beautiful as they are. The next morning, we played some dominoes, just took it easy in the morning because that night was New Year's Eve. So we are at our local hockey game. She had never seen a hockey game in person before. So we went to see our local hockey team, the Niagara Ice Dogs. We won 2-1 in overtime. And after the game was over, my husband went home to start warming up the appetizers for our New Year's Eve celebration. And my grandmother, my kids, and I drove through our township to look at the houses that came in the top 5 of being lit up for the contest. But as we drove around, we also found some amazing ones that either didn't enter the contest or somehow did not end up in the top 5. So these are just some beautifully decorated homes for the Christmas season that we saw on New Year's Eve as we were heading home from the Niagara Ice Dogs game. I know it seems like we might be running her ragged, but just remember our activities are afternoons or evenings. We didn't really do anything before at least 2 o'clock during the week. So nap time and sleeping in were definitely options. This is us staying up until New Year's Eve, but don't get me wrong, we did not last much longer than that. We all made it. All of us got to midnight. I don't think any of us got to 12:30. So the next morning, being New Year's Day, we actually used it to celebrate Christmas Day. My kids are older. We didn't have to worry about sticking to the 25th. So we did Christmas Day with my grandmother on New Year's Day because she also has not done a typical Christmas Day in decades. It was just her and her husband for the longest time. And you just kind of get up like it's a normal day and you open your couple gifts and then you move on with your normal day. But our family does Christmas Day as a big celebration. We do all our gifts. We play the Disney Christmas parade on the TV, which thank goodness the app had it available for us because it's not Christmas Day. But we watch the movie and we have the parade. We have our coffee. We do our gifts. And then my husband makes a really big breakfast. And so I was really happy that we could share our Christmas Day celebration with my grandmother. Anything that's on paper, we call tube gifts in our household. And tube gifts are like experiences and things like that. So we actually gave her a tube gift where there we go, where we are using it that day. We all stopped at Starbucks and then we went to an escape room. We got out about 5 minutes late, but she had never done an escape room before, so I was so happy to be able to take her to one. We all worked together, and then down the road is the Spring Grill House, which we've done many times, but it's not a restaurant like she has where she lives, so we wanted to be able to give her a different type of experience. As you saw there, we played a card game in the morning, which would have been January 2nd. And then this is us heading out to Niagara Falls and Niagara on the Lake. A lot of it is just drive-by, so it's not like, she obviously got out so she could physically see the falls. My husband dropped us off so that we could get out and take photos. Again, she hasn't seen it in at least 40 years, but I'd have to look up the date beyond that. It might be longer than that. But we just got out to take photos by the falls and then headed back in the car. She didn't have to do any of the walking along the railing or anything. It was a really cold day and we wanted it to be a very chill, relaxing day. So it was 99% car ride. So we got to see the falls. She got to see them in person. We got some great photos and then we're heading to Niagara on the Lake. But as we're going, there's a rainbow. And we thought it was really cute because the rainbow actually crosses over to the American side, almost like it's a bridge. But the funny part is we actually do have a rainbow bridge that connects Canada to the US about 10 minutes down from where we were when we saw it. So that was cute. That is the Niagara floral clock, which obviously is dead to the world right now. But in the summer when it blooms, it's beautiful. That's Laura Secord's homestead. And this is now Niagara on the Lake. So we just drove by. We got her some ginger-covered chocolate from there. That's kind of the main shot that people know of Niagara on the Lake. I showed her Greaves because she got some jam from there for Christmas. And Cows. It was a blizzard at this point, but my daughter and I got ice cream. And then, of course, to finish off the day, We got soup flights at a local restaurant because then my husband and daughter were heading out to a hockey game. And then the next day was her last day, so we just enjoyed playing games pretty much the entire day until we took her to the Buffalo airport to head home.